ARB, we're live.
Cool. I was going to say all those buzzes and dings and messages must mean we're live. So, howdy, everyone.
People know how to mute their tubes, but not their phones, apparently.
There's buzzes and dings and all the rest.
We can't give Travis too much shit because he's actually on his phone. So,
and it was muted too. So,
all right. So this is No Quarter episode number 37, and this one's called "Dude, Where's My Res?" So we'll talk about lots of Battle Pirate stuff as usual.
What a title that is!
Yeah, it's good considering it took 2 seconds of thinking thoughts, in fact. So we'll say hello to everyone before we get sidetracked right from the start. So who shall we start off with? G'day, Doomsday. How you doing?
Doing great, man. How y'all?
Good, thanks. And we've got Simba Dakota.
Hello.
And we've got Shane Howe.
Hello, peoples.
Ross Crow.
Good evening, everyone.
Toxic.
G'day, how are we?
Damnation.
What?
Oh, and you're stuck with me again. And since I have to introduce myself, apparently, I'm RB. So who wants to start first? I guess we'll start off with the res and how everyone's been going with that, given the amount of refits and tokens we want to spend and all the rest of it. So take it away.
I ain't fucking got any. pretty short conversation.
Hence the dude, where's my res?
I'm hitting little bases. I've worked my way up into the hundreds now. And I've been hitting with the ships that I've built, at least I've got a few of them in there. And as I hit bases, I can see things that I've done wrong. So I need to rebuild, and I can't see myself having a decent base hitting fleet with tier 7 hulls before the allotted time for the tokens is up. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of rares in the bases and stuff. If you have a few breaches and you fill it up with some other hulls, you can get plenty of rares, but the refits that you need to do, you need, not every base is the same. It's very hard to find the build that works, or you can end up with a vanilla build that sort of works here and there, but it's nothing like it was before the refactor. Yeah, that's where I'm heading, or that's where I'm at the minute.
Well, for me, it's I want to do things, but I'm not going to stay filled up on res for them to come and take it. Although I'm doing all right on my base so far. Res isn't that part of it, but I mean, it's just so much of it to do anything. I mean, if you want to upgrade turrets, it's like, well, I know the weapon's a full bank. I'm not sure what the turrets are. It's like half a warehouse, 450 million Zenithium. Is that right? I mean, it's just so daunting to go out there and get so much res to do this stuff all the time, especially right now. We're trying to use the tokens up, get everything straightened out. I mean, the tokens were great to get stuff done. It's just the cost of the res to do all this stuff is daunting, to say the least. That's just where I've been at it.
Yeah, they're not giving us enough time for everything. I mean, I've been hitting bases, doing the campaigns for people, doing the FM. It's just not enough time, not enough res.
I mean, and on top of that, I'd like to res the titanium targets, since I need so much titanium for the res as well as while I'm trying to fill up my titanium banks. But that's a costly target. That needs to come down. I mean, that's just a res target. It shouldn't be taking 15, 20 minutes a target for to go out there and get res. And we dang sure ain't going to hit cargoes, because that ain't got nothing in them. I'm not hitting those even longer. So
What are you using for your titanium?
My Manicores.
Do you have the Cretus?
Do I have the what?
Cretus 80s, whatever.
Oh, no. I don't have that Katie's thing, no.
Okay.
But
It knocks it down a bit.
oh, I imagine. I mean, I do them for like 15 minutes, but it's like 7 minutes on my lead ship out there and stuff. But I'm driving the shit out of that target. There's no reason I should have to drive that hard to get that least amount of damage. It should be lesser than for just cargo targets. You know what I mean? I mean, they're going to put the cost. What is it for the 90,000 on turrets? And something costed a lot of titanium to put on. I forgot what it was. It might be that outpost weapon. I mean, that's a full bank. It's like, Jesus.
I've already got it on there.
And it's not that good. Really?
Well, it's more of an effect from what I see. It depends on how you set up your base. It can be useful or it can be a dud, depending on how you use it. I see it being versatile.
Yeah, for me, excuse me. I believe I'm in a little different boat than many players. My hours in game have just been massive since the refactor. So I really have spent just huge amounts of time. So I have been able to collect the resources just from all different ways, but it has just required massive amounts of playtime, and I truly mean massive. I've been going from my phone when I'm not able in front of the computer, and just continuing on with daily life at the same time, and still playing the entire time. So it really has been a great task to do. As far as refitting my ships, I have refit some, but I'm not really finding that they're going to be in my situation. Now, this is definitely not for all players, but in my situation, I am a higher level player, and the tier 7 hulls do not look like to me they'll be beneficial moving forward in the bases that I would like to attack. They are just fine for doing the res things and all that, but if I'm going to hit a player my own level, I don't see the tier 7 hulls working any longer. Maybe just as a backup support ship in the fleet. Sorry about that, but that's about all I see it working for me. I do have things changed over, but the res for me has just been hours, is what it means.
And that's you as somebody who's retired speaking. Imagine somebody who has to work like a regular full-time job. There's like no fucking way they would ever have enough time.
No, I agree. That's what I mean. I was kind of just wanting to stress the fact that to do it, to get it done, like I think I have felt. Well, I think I'm close to being in a good situation. It's just required endless hours. I mean, too many.
And the thing there is that you had the ships before, like you would have had your 5 onslaughts or 5 missile cruisers or whatnot, where I haven't, so I have to build the hulls as well. Not that it takes any longer, it's just it's 200,000 extra res for every hull that I need to build. So it makes it really hard when there is not enough res about, and you just have to stop. There's nothing else you can do, and you can't do anything else because you never know when the next lot of res comes in, and if you got something cooking there, then you can't build a new ship. So if there isn't anything cooking, then there is nothing cooking. There's nothing I can put on that will be only an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 will be finished within that time, so I can then concentrate on getting some res and then start building another ship. It doesn't work. So
Well,
yeah.
the real shit part is they've known for a long time that this is going to be a problem. You know, I mean, like even before the whole refactor thing came up, I believe I brought up quite a few times that res payouts from just cargoes for low level players in the game for what they expect the low level guys to build right now is absolute shit. But you know, I mean, so they knew for a long time this is going to be a problem. And then they're like, "Oh well, we're looking into it. We're looking into it." It's like, well, by the time you look into it, if you actually do anything about it, it's going to be past fucking time when we need it. So what the fuck good was it? Thanks for sitting on your fucking asses and not doing anything when we actually needed it. Not that I'm bitter.
Well, you know, I agree, and I've had the same experience as everybody else. It's like to me the tokens were great, and I appreciated how many of them there was, but you know, to me, like the biggest killer was the 48 hours and having the 70% off, because you know, I do things at my own pace, and you know, if I get stomped, I get stomped. I don't really care, but to me, that's been the biggest thing, because, you know, like Ross, it's been the hours of just spending in the game. And it's like, I do work, and, you know, I was trying to work it out before that, you know, so I work for 10 hours a day, sleep for 6 or 8. So that doesn't leave an awful lot of time. And that 48 hours was the biggest thing. And I know that would have been hard to balance for them, because there was the whole thing about breaking the game and everything, and how they would, you know, have it so people wouldn't take advantage of that. But, you know, they can put in quite a few rules to stop us, that, you know, we can only use that 70% on tier 7 ships and tier 7 turrets. You know, you can't do anything else but that. So I just think that there could have been ways in my mind that this was handled a lot smoother and easier transition for everybody.
See, the thing, what they said, it was if they give us any more tokens or whatnot, it'll break the bank. Well, it wouldn't break the bank, because he wouldn't be able to use the tokens. Like,
Yeah.
I'm struggling to use the 81 tokens they give me, simply because I don't have. There just isn't enough time. You know, I can't just use the tokens for the sake of using it. There's got to be a reason, a refit or a new hull or something. And if you don't have that, well, then you don't need the tokens. And if you don't have any arrays, you can't build anything, so you don't need the tokens either.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's do and die, or, you know.
Mm.
And don't even get me started on the fact that these tokens expire Monday, and I can guarantee you in the raid that starts Thursday is where we're going to see that last piece of tier 7 PvP armor.
Of course.
So you're gonna have to go fucking refit every goddamn ship you got again. I mean, if that's not the biggest kick in the fucking balls, I don't know what is.
Welcome to the group, Neil.
Thank you very much. How's everyone?
Hey, Neil.
Hey, bud, how you doing?
Going all right.
I'm in a great mood, Neil. Can't you tell?
We're just
Listen,
pitching right along.
You're no worse in shape than the rest of us. You probably might express it a little more than some of us, but we all feel the same damn way. It's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, and I know, like, one of the considerations that I had was that, sure, I can, you know, just keep on cranking out hulls, but I'm going to run out of components. They need to be ranked. You know, to me, there was no point in just getting, you know, putting out ship after ship after ship, because yes, I could just scrap them again for res, but you're just going around in circles. So, and, you know, there are ways to get res. You know, we talked about some of that last week of you know, autoing the lower targets and just continually doing that. But guess what? It's boring.
Also, welcome, Bikes. I see Bikes just joined also.
Cool. I think I did miss that out, actually, that we did put the link in the Google chat. But so what do we got? One spot left. So if anyone else wants to join, so come on in.
Yeah, I made that mistake that you just said. You know, I was probably the one who said to you, build all these hulls, and you can, you know, fit them out later on. But yeah, I won't have enough time, or res to do that, because it's for me it's Sunday and today's the last day I can sort of fiddle around with it. I need money. Oh, I don't need money. I need res for the walls as well. I've built one level 11 wall so far, so I'm just a little bit behind.
Just out of curiosity, I'm going to ask, and I only want people to speak up if you were able to do it. Was there anybody who was actually able to spend all of the Conqueror tokens that they got?
No.
No.
Almost. I've got 6 left to spend before Monday, and I will spend them.
Not me.
I've had 81, and I think I've got 45 left.
I didn't get 81 though. I didn't get that many.
I did not get enough defender tokens though to change over what I had.
I got 38 Conqueror tokens, and I think I have like 15 left. I still need to do like put armor on 2 Revenants. I got to do like 2 more Ifrits and like an Onslaught and maybe something else. It's just ranking in VXP, like I'm taking the revs out and killing it and getting defender tokens out of it, but like there's no res at all. Like,
yeah, I mean, how simple of a fix would that have been? Could have solved 2 problems at one time. Just put fucking bukus of res in the VXP tokens or in the VXP targets, man. Could have fixed 2 problems at one fucking time.
Yeah, because it's just like, I mean, you come back 0. It's just like, damn. I mean,
And the repairs are expensive on these hulls, and when they're dead. I mean, it's like 18 million and stuff. I mean, that's a pretty good chunk for going out there and, just to kill your ship and get nothing in that end of it. Also, res is already a big enough problem.
It's a real simple fix for them to do is to up the res on everything, so you basically get maxed out no matter what target you hit.
Well, I mean, even at 500% on 30 million cargo hulls, it's still taxing. I mean, to be honest, the cargo needs to come up in them, but also needs to go up in your hulls as well.
I don't mind how much cargo. I got a fleet when I do the Snowfall campaign that I take home like 230 million.
Okay,
million reds at a time.
A 30 million hull. That's pretty much basic what everything is. Only the dragons have 32 million, but that's 150 million max.
Right. Well, I had an extra dragon that I added, and I made it. I put all cargo on it to stick in there and use for a cargo hull. So it raised it up. So I get 243 million per when it's full 500%.
So you rigged up some cargo haulers that had the extra special slots and all that on it.
Yes.
And the Dragon is the heaviest cargo hull we got at this point, beside the new Breacher thing.
Right.
And just because I can, there's my grease monkey. I just rolled everyone. So
I already give up on that. I figured.
Sorry.
Rub it in, rub it in.
I got one. I have one.
Hey, where's your 7-day token in your FM chest? Oh wait, you didn't get it.
Hang on a sec. Before you go there, I haven't opened my chest yet.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Thanks, Damnation.
He's gonna go Photoshop some shit real quick, and then all of a sudden screen share. Oh my god, look what I got!
Besides, it's Neil's turn this week. We already decided that. You were there last week.
What was my turn? I'm sorry, I missed that.
For the 7-day token for the FM.
Oh.
I thought it was Shane's turn because he's never gotten one.
Yeah,
I've never gotten one either, so it's my turn. But I put off doing it. So
I've never gotten one either, but other people have gotten them multiple times.
Very good.
Do we want to go into the Golden Doodles thing from Discord? Because I know that's going to take a while.
Yes, I thought that was probably the way to go now. Sorry, I've got the wrong screen. So has everybody read that? I was we were talking about it just before to say that, you know, if you missed it in Discord, it was a pain in the ass thing to read. So it was good that they've I think it was Templar did the transcript. So it was good to see that, but it did take quite a while for it to come over. So I was fixing to go on a rant because I hadn't seen it at all, and but they've done it now. It's up on the forums. So has everyone seen that?
I guess I don't know what I went on Discord, but I don't know if I seen what you're talking about.
Well, you know, you can always screen share the things from the forums, and that way we can, like, as we read them and follow along.
All right, no worries. Yeah, well, that's the thing about Discord is that it's very hard to go back and read something so dynamic as this. I know I certainly tried to do that, but you've got to, you know, find the start of it and kind of read backwards from there. So it does make it kind of hard. Okay, so that's the patch notes. That's the one we're after. So I guess you'd have to lock on me. I don't know how to do that. Damnation, you'd have to do that. So it does seem to me from the outside of reading half of it in Discord and then reading the transcript that there were questions missed and that they tried to focus on just part of it, which again kind of, it does give me, you know, the irrits that something dynamic's going on. You know, sure, I live in another country and I miss it, but I should still be able to find out what's going on, and the way that it's been transferred across, again, to me, could probably be improved. So the questions are, what does Tier 8 have in store? What does the Siege Cycle have in store? What's the new content coming out in December? How does it work? And then general questions. So did you want to go through each question, Damnation, or how did you want to do it?
Well, if I was in charge, which I'm not, but if I were in charge, I would probably go through and highlight what I would consider the important.
Okay.
But I'm not in charge. Okay. You do it how you want.
All right. Well, you can provide advice, though. So,
okay. I'll hold your hand through the process.
All right. As long as it's just my hand.
Nah, believe me, I don't even want to do that. So.
All right. So there was a range of questions going on. I did read all this before, but George has done a pretty, you know, long question about mechanical updates of Tier 8s and stuff like that, and how the Breacher only fits because it's the only one like this, so it's an all-rounder. And, you know, let's talk about resource. What a surprise. Ross had a good question in here about the whole refactor, and I thought there was some kind of interesting points in there. Where was your question, Ross?
Yeah, it's there. It's.
Here we go. Okay, so it kind of fits into the conversation, but you're asking that you're told to sit patiently waiting for the missing Tier 7 tech, being the CTOC3 plate, and the release of more Tier 8 hulls to balance the game. And then what was the refactor for? And this answer really, I don't know, it made me really scratch my head to it that Chris is saying, you know, that the refactor was not designed to balance the entire game. Well, it was certainly designed to balance PvP. And the answer was, it's, you know, designed to put the focus of Tier 7 PvP pictures such as it was. To fix this, Tier 7 was no longer broken in the way that it was, so design did succeed in their efforts, even though we know there's some minor tweaks. The tokens allowed you to fit the content that was already out. Remaining content accounts for 2 to 3% of total Tier 7 for the year. This was a healthy change, and we did right by the players with the generosity of refit. So I encourage you to look at the positives. So don't be negative.
Okay, let me pick this part for a second. Okay, so basically we're right back to the point. The whole problem with Tier 7 was shit didn't get released in the correct order, and that's why it was broken, right? So now we're back to Tier 8, because this is also addressing one of the other questions. It's like, well, the Dreadnought's in a weird place right now because not all the Tier 8 content is out. It's like, okay, so you're saying we did all this refactoring to fix the fact that you didn't release all the Tier 7 stuff in the right order at the right time, just to go back, and now you're going to do the exact same fucking thing with the Tier 8 content? I mean, how hard is it? Okay, you give us a new ship, then you give us a new thing to defend against at the same time. How hard is that?
Yeah. How satisfied with that answer were you, Ross?
Well, gee.
Kill the dog.
I think
The
Ross
dog didn't like it, man.
Yeah.
The dog didn't like the answer at all.
Obviously. That dog was like, "You motherfucker."
And I'm telling you, man, if my dog don't like somebody, I don't like that person. Trust your mutt.
Oh, I gotta tell you, that's not even that's my girlfriend's dog, and I'm dog watching again. If a leaf blows in the yard, that thing thinks it's attack mode like that, and so I might have to mute it. But no, I wasn't. For me, the answer is an expected answer, expected reply. It's a standard reply that I've seen in the past to something like that. I just don't feel I think, yes, exactly like Damnation mentioned, I think we're revisiting the same issue that we just tried to correct, and we didn't correct because we still didn't release all the tech, and now we're going before Tier 8 was released, and now we already released Tier 8 prior to all Tier 7 tech being out. And that's on purpose. So that to me is just not okay. But I'm still here.
Yeah. Well, I was just like thinking, I say, well, you got the Tier 7 hulls. Sure, we can build them, but how many of those Tier 7 hulls are really any good when someone's got a Tier 8 hull in their base?
Absolutely.
So tell me how that refactor helped.
Yeah, because it seems like we're always one step ahead, because that was one of the first things that people did was put the breaches in their base, and it was like, okay, so we're just going around in circles again. But
I thought Ross asked some really super questions, and they just got overlooked. I mean, it's kind of like, well, we're not going to tell you about that. You've already became more intelligent than we expected out of you guys, so we'll just bypass that one.
Yeah, I'm sure that it is a hard. Not that I'm defending them, but I'm sure it is a hard way to keep up, and that's why there were so many, of them in there all at the same time, and how they slowed down the questions. And I think you're only allowed like one question every 30 seconds or something like that. So,
well, kudos to them for doing it, but even if they're not listening.
Yeah. Because I think the next one's kind of funny too. That so the question is, how do we stop being walloped by players that are 20 to 30 levels above them, because there's absolutely no defense in those scenarios, and still there's no defense for a level 89 who gets hit by a player 30 plus. And it's like, the answer is, it's in the brainstorm phase. Do you think by now we should probably be out of the brainstorm phase?
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, there's a level 89 that people cannot get into.
I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure
that guy can hit just as high as a level 199.
Yeah, but that's rare, and
it is rare. But I mean, it's out there. So I'm trying to figure out how someone can really say that. I mean, because they're still playing the same game we are. I mean, at that level, they shouldn't have that tech, but they do. That's because we're allowing them to have it.
Well, it just goes to show you that the ones that do come up with those type of questions, that how do I perform or how do I keep up with a level 120 or something like that, they're not trying. They want it handed to them. They don't want to earn it like we've done to get where we are. They want it handed to them. So that's my take on that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's.
Well, I agree with that because there has been a lot of entitlement, but at the same time, over all this time, you look at your alliance. You're in an alliance. You want to help your lower players. You'll give them as much as you possibly can. You'll go out and prep targets for them and all that sort of thing. So it's not quite. To me, it's not quite fair to say that they're not trying. They may be in the wrong alliance. They may not be able to get in the right alliance. I don't know. There's different people.
I've told them that too. I mean, you're not in the right alliance to get enough help. Or come to a different alliance and you get more help.
Yeah.
I will say this though: if the first time when you're able to get the ships for the next cycle and everything, if I go through and I prep you and I get you points to get the hull and I prep you points to get the special and I get you points to prep the weapon, and by the end of that raid cycle you're still asking for help, you didn't fucking try.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. But we did also see an event just gone past where you got stuff for your alliance performance. Now you may not have contributed much to that performance at all, but you damn sure got the prizes for it.
And you also saw a change in those fleets in every single event and mini event and special event all the way across the board. But if you didn't collect the tokens through, you didn't have the ability to adapt with refits. So it's kind of like
go back to something I've been telling the people that I play with that are struggling with the game is, okay, we're going to help you get something here in this raid, and we had people that would dig in and we make sure you get the hull, we get the specials, and I'll be son of a bitch come the next raid cycle. I don't have one built yet, and I'm building a damn baser. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I know how you feel, Neil. I had the same thing.
That's anywhere you go. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I know it does, but that's what I say when you see questions that try and cater to the lower levels. It's kind of like, well, lower levels want to hand to them; they don't want to have to work for it. So I give up feeling sorry for them.
Or you get a lot of money on the game. They don't put it on. They'll put something else on and not the special that you help them get.
Yeah, I thought I'd try this. And no, that's not what works. We're telling you what works.
Yeah. So I try to tell everybody, hey, forget about your base. Forget about your dang basers. I mean, you need to be able to do raids in the FM and get your parts, base parts and stuff. That's the main part of the game you have to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. Question 29 was pretty interesting as well, which was, and we have talked about this in the past, that when you replace map targets such as glowing nav relays with a new target from a raid cycle, why do you keep the damage in them around the same output as the raid but with no half repair? And Robot said, they've done a tuning pass as they shift them to the world map, and we've seen this, that the damage has been too high. But this was the interesting part to me, was that, however, we usually target fleets that are legendary with all the bells and whistles for these targets, because these targets are meant to be around for a longer duration. We don't want to have to go back and adjust them. Well, to me, that stinks.
Well, but guess what? At the end of the raid cycle, I have my fleet all legendary with all the bells and whistles, and a lot of these map targets are still too fucking difficult for
exactly
goddamn Troy target.
Ross can post his builds for his bat rays or his razors. I guarantee they got 99% defense on them, and they'll still take an hour damage in a target or something like that.
Yeah, they got 100. I'm at 100, and they actually read 100%, and I take damage, So it's just the numbers are still crazy. And
yep.
I mean, all these targets that are meant for for chores and stuff, to get stuff, we shouldn't have to take a ton of damage in them to do it. It's required stuff that we have to get. We shouldn't have to take hours of damage to try to build up.
Yeah, but don't forget, in the raid, you're on half repair. So if you get a 4-hour repair in the raid, you repair for 2 hours. Then you use a grease monkey, and it goes down to an hour.
If you have one.
You know, yeah, well, I'm just saying that's what most of us do. You do it in blocks of an hour and a half. You hit as many targets as you can, and once your grease monkey runs out, well, then you put tools down and wait for it to repair, or do it another day.
But the people who don't have a good uranium fleet, they don't have grease monkeys, do. They're not rolling enough to get them.
That's right.
Well, you might be surprised, but the only uranium I get is through the Scourge blockade. I haven't got a fleet. I don't even know what fleet to hit uranium targets with. And if you'd ask me, give me 100,000 coins, I couldn't tell you which target on the map gives you uranium. I've got no idea. I get my uranium through the Scourge blockade, and I've got 4 monkeys sitting in my little whatever it's called.
Well, I say you're lucky to be able to roll them.
So what are you using to do your Scourge blockade? It doesn't just happen magically.
No, I've got hunters, which is like 3 raid cycles ago, and I just auto it with them.
Okay.
I can do 57 map targets with 2 prototypes. Instant repair. That's 15,000 uranium. And if you happen to have a cutthroat, that's 30,000. You can fill up in no time before that ever runs out. And 57s, you're hitting 57s. So,
however, I can say I'm not going to use a grease monkey to fill up on uranium. That's just not going to happen.
Did I say grease monkey? I meant cutthroat.
No, I know what you meant, but we were talking before about the grease monkeys and going out for an hour and a half.
Okay, but that's how I have 18 grease monkeys.
Yes, yeah,
and never use them.
Wrong.
Oh no, I give them a hammering during the raids. So that's why.
My personal opinion, I don't know how the rest of you feel, but no target on the map, if you have a legendary fleet to hit that target, no target should cause you more than 25 minutes damage, because that's go in the base, break up, and repair for instant. No chore target of something you don't really want to be doing anyway, but you're forced into doing by the way they have these set the economy up. No target of that variety should be more than going in my base, splitting it up, and getting instant repair that way.
Right. I'm saying it should cost no more than 1 coin for a legendary fleet to go into any target, any of the top targets for, doing your weeklies or whatever. It should only cost you 1 coin.
Well,
that way, that 1 coin, you can go back and divide your fleet up and repair it quite quickly. Might have to wait a minute or 2 on a ship, but the repair is manageable.
Yeah.
And see, I personally, I don't like assigning coin value to it. I'd rather assign the time value to it, because when they hear a coin, when they hear 1 coin, they're like, oh, well, 1 coin's nothing. But but like when people hear like 25 minutes, 30 minutes, they're like, okay, well, that's taking this player out of the game for this amount of time, and it's all about player engagement. So time is more relative in their world than what the coin is.
I almost, I don't know. I think coin is more in their narrative.
Okay, I guarantee you're wrong, but you can think that.
Well, I mean, I just what I mean. They're not making coin off of it. They're not.
If you do the 25-minute thing like Mike's talking about, I mean, that way, like you said, you can come into your base, you can break your fleet down, instant repair each ship, go back out. It never costs you a nickel, nothing, and then you're back out on the map hitting the target.
Yeah, and it's not costing you that 25-minute time of you're not gonna play.
And there's multiple advanced resources, so that means that's multiple fleets, and at 25 for each fleet, that'd be acceptable to be able to micro repair and get out there, do your chores, get all those 3 resources filled, plus trying to get some regular res.
One thing about it is we still have not gotten away from this freaking chores. All we do is chores. Right now, I'm getting a res. I just trying to flip out the rest of my fleets before Monday, and I'm getting a res. I'm down to under 100 million of each res. So you know how long it's going to take me to fill up?
what they should do, what I think they should do with the advanced resources is in every target, like, all right, so you have the 3 different ones. So say, for instance, uranium. You hit a uranium target, you get the most of uranium, but you get a little bit of the other 2. Then if you go hit titanium, you get the most titanium and then just a little bit of the others. For players who don't have fleets for all 3, at least they can get a little bit to survive, because all they're getting right now is Mega Mayhem chest, because Reaver Tide's gone, so that's not a lot of drops for players who can't hit the targets.
Yeah, I was going to say that before too. You know, we are all at the position where we're coming from the legendary fleets with everything on them. So there are a lot of people out there who aren't. Sometimes it's by choice, sometimes it's not by choice. So I'm sure they're struggling as well. And of course, we all know Mega Mayhem's broken as well, so they're missing out on those drops.
Well, I mean, okay, here would be a perfect time. 2 out of the 3 TLCs are broken. Why don't you come out with 2 new TLCs, both which are for the premium resources? You got one for uranium already. Why don't you come out with one that's strictly for titanium, and then come out with one that's strictly for base parts?
That's like your titanium generator and uranium generator. I build them. I think I might have put 2 levels on them. Hell, I can't afford to tie them up to get any more levels on them, though.
Yeah, level 2 is what, like 10 days, 9 hours or something?
Something like that. It was unbelievable. I said, no, I'm not tying my damn build up for that. I got other things I want to build.
Yeah. And, they could also use expeditions to give decent payouts. They don't even have to be, they don't have to be new targets. They can be old memories.
Don't get me started.
Nah. We're just saying the options are there. Like, they don't have to go and recreate something completely new. There's no reason why they can't recycle things and improve what's already there.
I've been trying to get expedition payouts ever since Chris first started working here, and you see how far I've gotten on that.
Yeah.
Well, we've got cargoes out on the world.
Whatever the chameleons, I've got a fleet of those, and I won't even turn them loose. I don't even have a slot for them.
Yeah.
We've got cargoes out in the world map. All they need to do is put more of the normal resources in there, and put some uranium, some titanium, and some base parts in them as well. And bingo, there's one big chore out of the way. You hit the one target, and that's it.
All right, moving on. Go ahead.
Yep. No worries. So this one's pretty important because what are we now? 6 days out from raid, 5 days out from raid, something like that. So question 27 is, can we get info on the siege cycle and the new hull? The cycle is going to be very similar to the last one, with more interesting gameplay, defenses like mountain tiles and turrets with firing arcs. And Travis, I'm looking at you, buddy. Anyway, the Eradicator and Striker, the 2 new hulls. One has a frenzy mechanic that allows it to pick up speed as it kills, which I think that's in the BP next week. So we'll get to that. And the other submerges while on the move, then rises to fire when stationary. So we're still back to having 2 hulls, and we're still back to you've got to pick one, and there'll probably be some video out, and that'll be all the information you've got to make your choice.
Yeah, so one stays submerged and can shoot over the mountains, and the other one is a surface ship that can run around the mountain, right? That's what I'm gathering.
Yes.
On that one, don't you have to stop to it pops up to shoot, right?
I don't have enough.
No, from what I'm reading, it can. Oh no, wait, never mind. It says it can't. Sorry, I misread that. You're right. Carry on.
So, any thoughts about any of those?
I don't have a spot for them right now, so I can't build them.
You're gonna have to.
If you want to do the next raid, these are the raid hulls, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Looks like proto sentries are gone.
Yes.
Yeah,
which is good because I never built them.
I mean, I'm not freaking out about the whole thing, but it doesn't appear that we're making a healthy change in the in the 2 fleets for the raid cycle issue. In my opinion, it's continuing it, and we, as the player base, I'm pretty certain that we're not for the two required fleets for especially a 3-month cycle. It's kind of it takes the PvP out. I'll say that, it's going to be quite a bit of.
Yeah. Well, remember, they keep saying that you don't need both, but from experience, we do.
You do.
If they had kept things the way that they were the very first raid of this current cycle that we're in, I would have bought that we didn't need both, because I was able to do both targets with pretty similar amounts of damage with my one fleet. But that has diverted as we continued on into the cycle, and it's becoming more and more apparent this target is for razors and this target is for bat rays, and if you take the other fleet into its wrong target, you're going to take a crap ton of damage. They started out well, and then they screwed it all up as they continued on. That's my take on it anyway.
Yeah, I'm totally different. The last raid we had, or we used or whatever it wasn't a raid, was it? It was, what was it called? Or whatever it was. I used I only got razor tails, and I had roughly about the same amount of damage in both. So it didn't really affect me at all. I've not noticed a huge amount where I go into one target and I've got like an hour's worth of damage, and go in another one and I get 4 hours. There's nothing like that. Mine were roughly about the same. Maybe I fucked my build up so bad that it worked, but no idea. But that was my experience in the last time I've used them.
It was still higher damage across the board, just regardless of what you had or what you did, it was still up damaged a little bit.
My issue totally doesn't lie with just the raid targets. Actually, that's the smallest of my concern. My concern is when these targets move to the map and they turn into resources and just features that we need for continuing TLCs and such. I mean, we did find out that the bat raid does outperform in the SSRB in certain areas, and then the razor tail does perform differently and better in some other areas. So there definitely is a difference and an advantage to having one fleet over the other for many different aspects of the game, and requiring 2. It does seem to me to be a requirement. And the way I'm looking at it is, I'm not a 2 fleet fan, and I in the past I have not done that, and regardless of how detrimental it was to my game. But I did this last time. I built the bat ray and the razor tail, and I'm a pretty. I mean, I can't say I used all my tokens, but I used a huge amount of my time and tokens from the weekly to get these fleets ready, and I'm still 1 ship short now. We're going into this cycle right now. I'm going to be 1 ship short, so I'm going to be always a ship short by design, by the build time. I mean, that's just it.
Boy, I tell you what, we could really work that over.
But you know what I mean? It's just built to coin. So I don't like I'm not a PVE fan, and I don't like coin and PVE.
Well, having said that, Ross, I totally agree with everything you've said. There is a TLC though, so that will get you your missing ship from the fleet, because you'll have enough tokens to build.
No, that added my 4. I'm still going to be.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm still going to be short 1, and I'm not I haven't slacked off in building these things, but I built them with the tokens that were offered through the gameplay, and I participated in every TLC and campaign thing that was offered to gain the tokens to move these fleets ahead. I did participate in, and so that's what's out there.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies. I wasn't thinking of the flags, because obviously that's where the long build time is, not so much.
It really is
ships,
and then the upgrades.
Yeah. Cool.
I mean, really, the upgrades along at the same time, I couldn't just move off and go and build I had a razor tail fleet, and then I couldn't just go immediately into building a battery fleet because they came out with the upgrade weapons and things. Well, I had to be able to continue to participate in the event, the next event. So I had to upgrade my current fleet. You know, so it's a flip flop that doesn't work out well for me.
Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Simba? You've been kind of quiet.
No, I'm just listening.
Okay, cool. I just want to give everyone the chance to say what they want to say. So it is a 6-day raid. Just, you know, it should be, but just that's been confirmed. So now there was the other question in here. There's always going to be repair times. There's no doubt about that. So the mountain tiles and the heavy directional turrets are what's like we're going to see in the siege targets. So it looks like we could be getting those as well. So
I would just like to put forward anybody who doesn't like the idea of mountain tiles, thank Doomsday Rebel here on the panel. That was his idea back many years ago. He recommended those and icebergs and excess loot tiles too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, like I always thought it'd be cool, like all the res that you like when you have your warehouses full and you're like it's just wasted res. So that'd be like just like a cheap barrier. It'd be like coins flying up when like somebody shoots it and stuff. But yeah, that was like 2-3 years into the game, you know. So I mean, I'm sure that was like way long forgotten, but it's awesome to see kind of like something besides a flat square tile. I think it's cool. Still want to see the iceberg though.
And what did you call it, Toxic?
I don't know. What did I call it? Was it good? Oh, sorry. Yeah, that meant the you weren't meant that's a secret. You weren't meant. You know, that wasn't never meant to come out. That's they're planning a name change to Battle Commander, but yeah, you didn't hear it here.
Okay. And there's a boom tish there, but yeah.
Boom anyway. Tish.
Yeah, that's
you can clap now.
All right, so we'll probably leave this as the last one and then we can move on to some other stuff. So there was a good question in here about the FM and how many points it's costing to do and how much time it takes to do. This is a bit of a normal one that comes out every single week, but it's interesting that the answer was that...
Please let me cover this one.
Go for it.
Because this was actually my question. I asked him, I said, will FM continue to be almost a weekly raid cost with cost per new prizes increasing constantly and new content bloating the top tier? The answer to this was, loaded question. We don't see the FM as a second raid. Costs seem pretty stable from what they've always been. So, having seen that answer, I wanted to dispute this with facts. So I went back and I looked at the prizes that we were getting this time a year ago. I actually went even just a little bit beyond a year because I started using all the stuff from the siege cycle. And guess what I found? All those new prizes back then were like 900,000 points, 1 million points, at most 1.1 million points. And now what are we up to? 2 million points, 2.5 million points. How much limited stuff goes in there? That, some weeks you can claim up to like 4 of the same thing that cost you like 3 million points a piece. So for somebody to answer with, we don't see the FM as a weekly raid and costs seem pretty stable from what they've always been, that tells me that that person does not play this game at all.
They're only sitting on the other side of the window.
No, like I stand by my literally. He does not play this game at all. He's the CM for like 3 of their games. I think he doesn't have any time to play this game. So he shouldn't be giving out answers like that when he literally doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's a grind, dude.
It has dramatically increased, and for the smaller players, it's taken over their entire game. It really has, and rightfully so, because that's where I'm even if you can't do the weekly, then you can't move forward in the game. And so the smaller and medium players really need to do the weekly, and they do best in the game by getting all those things. Well, that's a week-long thing right there. I mean, that takes the entire game up for many players.
Oh, that's very true. I mean, when they're working and come on, they're only on for a couple hours. They got to grind out smaller targets to get the amount of points. It's they don't got time for a whole lot of anything else.
I mean, just something about the way that question was answered and the condescending demeanor to it just really pissed me the fuck off.
I wasn't going to comment on what he said. I was trying to be. I wasn't going to go that route. That was all for you.
Well, they get mad at me because I speak my mind directly to them all the time, so they might as well get mad at me for speaking my mind on my own freaking show, you know?
How dare you?
I mean, the FM is the FM, and I'm a delivery driver, so whatever the company throws in my truck, I cannot finish until I've delivered it all, and that means that I work long days, some weeks. Now, coming home, I'm not going to sit down here and play Battle Pirates and go and get myself some res or do an FM or whatnot. I just can't be bothered. I just want to go home, have something to eat, watch some TV, and go to bed, and start all again the next day. So what I found very helpful is the phone app. I can go and auto 3 or 4 targets on the phone app, and then I send the fleet to repair.
Yeah.
And while I watch movies at night, the fleet will be finished repairing, and I just do that again, and it'll repair through the night. And the next day, I can do that again. That's how I got through my FM. If I didn't have that phone app, or if that phone app wasn't available, I probably wouldn't get half of the stuff that I've got now. And that's just how I do it.
Interesting. How did you do the FM before the phone app, though?
It was never really that. It wasn't that labor intensive. Mm-hmm. And I even now with the phone app, I don't get all the prizes. There isn't, I mean, I get 2.4 million points at a time, and what I go first is always the tokens. I go for them first, and then whatever else is next, and I never get all of them. Not 1 week I've gotten all of them.
Yeah, because it ties in, because it's their argument could be, well, we've increased the points that you get, so therefore it's not so much of a grind. But I don't use the phone app. I never will. I have no interest in it because I'm automatically taking more damage than what I should be. So I'll find time to do it. But that's just me. Everyone plays differently. So.
But when you increase the points we get, but you also increase the point of the prizes by more than you increase the points that we get, we're not making ground, we're losing ground.
Yeah. I realized I probably should have blown this up too, so it would make it a bit more obvious what I was doing. All right, have we all talked enough about that? That must be a yes.
Yeah, sure,
so one of the other things I wanted to cover was the build a bridge.
Build a bridge. All right.
Is here, buddy. Let me tell you.
How about a badge? We'll build a badge. Right. So there's the community art contest that's going on at the moment. The link's in the forum. So there's been some quite good suggestions. This is just their example, but the winner gets to have their badge in the game. There's been some kind of interesting ones of people that have just directly copied something, so I don't really know why there's the point of that. The obvious trolling badges. However, there have been some good ones with some people that have actually put some effort into it. I thought that one was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Going to the next page. that Forsaken Sniper one was good too. So there has been some good, very good submissions put in. So if you're interested in doing something like this, by all means. They do say that they will, they've got the right to change things.
Like that one.
Yeah, I know, right? That's definitely a base one. Okay, this could be won by anyone only getting the points required in the raid to cover the cost of new prizes and tokens. Go over that limit and you can't have it. I would put this badge on my base and I don't do badges. Well said. All right, so yeah, and there's been some good work done.
Well, I've seen some really nice badges.
Who gives
that one's kind of cool. I don't know. Some people care about them, so. And of course, we get down
Phantom
to Doom.
Floating Fortress. That one was really cool. The old school floating fortress.
Yep.
Like how you went. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I used to love that ship.
Yeah. Remember the first time it popped out of dark water? Man.
Yeah. Make a ballistic ship out of it. Make a mortar ship out of it.
Remember the horrific speed of it?
Oh, yeah. Horrific. Yeah, speed was awesome.
If you had a toilet going in a straight line, the floating fortress could circle it. That's how fast it was.
No, that's a good one there. The Pentagon-looking one. I like that too.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Would you get in trouble for making this badge because it means that you've been spying on the government? Sorry. And we got the Comms Warrior one, of course. That one's kind of cool, I thought.
I'm pretty sure the Comms Warrior one, everybody who's ever played this game could have won that one at some point.
Yeah, I think you get it automatically. And then we've got Doom's ones down the end. I don't think anyone else is. Oh no, there's a couple there. That one's just a copy.
Go back up to Doom's for a minute. First one.
That one?
Yeah, that one right there. I really like that badge.
That is pretty neat.
Now, just out of curiosity, did you do like a direct Games Workshop chaos theme on this?
Yeah, I wanted to have the chaos logo in there for sure.
Cool.
And so like I did that in like Corel Draw. I did made a vector shape, and then I copied it into Photoshop. I have like a plugin. It's made by a company called Alien Skin. It's called Eye Candy. But it does like all kinds of like lighting effects and stuff. So I did like this chrome thing on it, and then I have a graphics tablet where I with a stylus pen. So I painted out the bear skull and then added in the antlers. So took like 2 programs and a plug-in.
Well, the joys of working at a graphics place and be able to do this on your spare time, huh?
I did like the requirement for this one though too, that it's completely destroy 100 players' bases to 100%. I thought that was quite good because it would be something that people would strive for, and be quite good. This other one's so this one's just the first one without the bear skull. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I figured if they did it, if it was actually really in a game, it was less. So it was only defeat 25 player bases. So you just get the chaos symbol.
Cool. Sorry, my mouse is automatically scrolling there.
I really like those. I think that those were. I'm not a huge badge fan, but I liked both those, and the concept of one similar to the other. One's for defense and one's for offense. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I quite like this little skull one too. I thought that was nice and clean and small, and
it's cool because it's got the Forsaken skull in it.
Yeah. So it's good. Yeah. So if people are creative, get out there and do that. I think it's gonna. When did they say it was gonna finish?
I think it might be over. I can't remember.
He must be.
Elon did do one, Misty, but he basically just stole a picture off of Google and said, "Here, make this a badge."
I really like that. The Winter Warrior or whatever it is, that Viking dude. That was really
cool. That was cool too.
I might bring up that with all this tier 7 ship build tokens and the fact that we have to gather so many res. And I went from a level 118 to a 122 in about 5 days.
Wow.
There you go.
That's good.
I'm working on getting to a 122.
I'm already 3/4 way over and through my 124 that I just got.
It's crazy.
I got a question, guys. Leslie Springer asked this in chat a while back, and does anybody know exactly why the 40 FM targets got pulled? I don't hit anything that low, so I'm not familiar with what the problem was. Was it unkillable shit in there, or what was it?
Yes.
I guess it was stated around walls and turrets. Same problem that was in different.
The Mega Mayhem.
Yeah.
And they did have, I think it happened in the 61s as well. So if you had Punishers with ballistics, so if that was your way of doing the FM, you couldn't get through the walls or the turrets or anything like that. So it was deflection or something that had been copied over or something like that. So they'd just sit there and nothing would happen, basically. So cool. And I guess we've probably been going for a while now, so let's move on to your Battle Pirates next week. So the briefing's up. So all the things that we know. So the raid starts on Thursday. Yeah, I know, right? And there'll be 2 new hulls, the Eradicator and the Shrike. So, yeah. Anyone have anything they want to say about that?
Well, what I'm wondering, are they going to go back to the 4-month cycle, or are they going to stay at the 3-month?
Everything I've seen, it seems like they're staying with the 3.
Yeah, I think they're going to stay with the 3.
Yeah.
But are they going to have skirmish targets like they've had assault targets in the past couple, maybe?
I don't know.
Potentially extend it to the 4th in a minor type of way.
Yeah, I'm not sure, or whether they do like a target in your tower or something like that as well, because it'll be a 6-day one. So no doubt there'll be lots up for grabs, and no doubt there'll be a whole lot of new release prizes on Saturdays. So remember that, and don't spend all your points at once.
That gets real. I get so tired of that, because people actually like schedule their raid. Based around, okay, I need to get this many points, so that means I have to try to get this many hours into the raid. And people actually, believe it or not, try to like schedule their entire life around, I have this much time to get this many points. How can I maximize that? And throwing all this crap in the middle of it just fucks everybody.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty standard practice these days. So I guess the only thing in their defense is maybe that they might think, and this is just, just throwing shit out there, that maybe they think if they put everything there at the start that it'll be too daunting. I don't know. I'm just, but it seems to be the way that we're going. So cool. So did anyone else have any other thoughts or things that they wanted to discuss for their week?
All right, here, we're just talking about there's going to be a short briefing, and then I just wonder how much they'll put into explaining what are we playing for, one sort of like a submerged platform, or something that's obviously different than what we've seen before, and the other is just going to be a blitz version for the people who just don't want to try the new mechanic or whatever. So there's a risk in this new mechanic, and are we going to see enough of it to know, is that risk worth it?
Yeah, I know that last video wasn't enough to show anything, but it's interesting because as you said that, I was like, so that means that there's a skill hull and a blitz hull.
That's what I think.
Maybe.
I mean, if it can go around.
They said we would never have again.
That's right. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist that one.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what it seems like.
Yeah,
Well, it
it's
does.
funny. It's funny how I can almost forgive them from one team to another team. They don't keep their word necessarily, but when it happens within the same team, it's like you guys really don't pay any attention to anything you say, do you?
Well, I would say then too that it's not the actual team that's the problem; it's the direction that they're getting.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I would probably blame it on product, but I like blaming everything on product.
Wouldn't you go higher up?
I don't know because I like quite honestly I don't know how anybody other than like the person in charge of product and the person in charge of game development. I don't know how much higher people than that really pay attention to what's actually really going on. I think they might only pay attention to the sound of the cash register.
But that's the thing, that if the company mandate is, exceed to all excesses or something, that's the direction that all the teams are going to follow. Does that make sense?
There's a senior leader somewhere that's the middleman between probably the CEO and even the financial people. So that's the guy that's the consistent guy that's always like, all right, great ideas, guys, but add this. And then they probably got to crunch in and do it like real fast. Like we got to do all our jobs. Like our boss tells, oh, by the way, this has got to be out by Friday.
And it's Thursday afternoon at 3:30.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, all companies are pretty much the same. So it's not that we're trying to pull them apart or anything. It's just that that's the way that companies work. So.
Yeah, corporate structure is just ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah. Anyway, cool. I did want to also just quickly point out that there are 30,000 players online at the moment showing for me, and that is actually a good thing. The reason that I say that is because the numbers are actually relatively stable. So I'm actually kind of liking that we keep on always hearing that people are dropping off and people are leaving and, all the rest, and they obviously are. Because this is a snapshot of, just this particular time on day X. But to me, it's kind of stayed kind of stable. So it's good not to be in a completely...
That's very debatable because that snapshot is only on Kick's Eye.
Oh, I know that.
We don't know how many people who played on Facebook have quit.
Yeah, I know that.
I can guarantee you there's a lot more people play on Facebook than play on Kick's Eye.
Of course.
Yeah, alliance leader, it's about where I predicted. We lost to 10% across the board on it, regardless of the issue. Why? But that's where I came up with about 10%.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's not as bad as it could be, I guess, because the effect was pretty big. So, just speaking of Facebook, how did your lag end up going, Ross? Did it get any better? Just because I haven't asked you yet. So,
in all honesty, no. It was just I was truly just saddened. I actually went to the casino during the last event and won a great deal. So I came home and I was pretty excited. I was like, I usually budget the same amount of coins, every month. And this month, I did spend them all. I just spent them on the new halls. Well, I couldn't even play. Wow. I mean, it was just I couldn't even play. So, no, it's pretty horrible. But right when the events all end, my issues did clear up and just magically disappear. But by then, everybody had the new halls in their bases, and so my little advantage window of being that guy where you get to coin the hall just for that, that reason to go move up a little bit ahead of everyone was slapped.
Did it make any difference playing in other platforms?
No.
Interesting. Cool. All right. Sounds like your dog wants to go out. Is there anything anyone else wanted to talk about?
No.
Are we happy?
No, but
are we ever happy?
Real quick, I want to address something Misty said there in chat. She says, so technically they didn't say no blitz, no auto. They were wanting to bring skill back into all. No, actually, that's not true. Basically, what they basically said was they were both designed to be auto hulls, but you could minimize how much damage you took by micromanaging them as far as driving them that way. Those were those exact words that they said on that one of their streams. You can go back and check that if you'd like to. So yeah, they actually that's not what they say. So anyway, sorry, carry on.
No. Okay. Take me off present. All right, well, I guess if nobody else has anything else that they want to say, good luck for your raid next week. It'll be a long one, being 6 days. So, yeah. As always, if if you like the show, certainly come and join us. Like and subscribe the video, and I guess everyone will get back out to their BXP targets that are just about to finish. So, I guess we'll all say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
See you, everyone.
Does that mean you want me to hit the button?
Good night.
Yes, please.
Okay.